here's the third part, my answering of the question of Eric. Let's see what the question is. Here's the button.
Question number 3. How long did it take you to be able to fully sit in the lotus position? I'm kind of new to yoga and stretching, so it's kind of difficult for me, and it seems like it would take a long time for me to be able to sit in the lotus position. So I'm just curious how long it took you.
Okay, full lotus. Usually we want to get into full lotus because of impression it gives us, like if you can sit in full lotus, you are a real yogi. If you cannot, then you are just a novice. At least for me it was. In fact, it's not the most important thing to be able to sit in full lotus. For example, now when I meditate, it's been a long time, when I meditate I'm walking, I do walking meditation mostly. If I sit down, honestly I become drowsy, and for me I find my meditation more active when it is more dynamic, when I'm walking. I don't know, I got used to it and I like it. Full lotus is a very good position, very comfortable one once you get into it, because you have your spine very comfortable. It is not, your body is not leaning forward and not leaning backwards. You are staying erect, and it is easier than if you are sitting in other cross-legged position. It is a good thing of full lotus. How I got into this position? It was back in Lithuania, and I wanted to get into it. I was impressed. And actually I did it by force. And this is what I wouldn't recommend. For me it took me like 1 or 2 months, but I was using my force to get into this position. It would be hurting really. And I would get into this position for lotus, and I would be just trying to endure the pain. And I would get out of this position. But in this way I had a trauma. And I think my knees were hurting due to this trauma. So actually I wouldn't recommend trying to get by force. I would just say that take your patience. Full lotus is not the most important thing in meditation. It is a good thing if you want to learn it, very good, get into it. But I would say my recommendation would be take your time and take it slowly. And if you practice yoga, Eric, then with this you will get into this lotus. There are yoga practices and positions that also help you to get into this. I'm sure you can find it on the internet. If you cannot, then I can tell you if you ask me. Yes. Full lotus is worth to get into it because it's very comfortable once you get comfortable with it. But it is not the proof of your meditation. It is just a position. Okay? 4 minutes, so I have some more time for another question. Number 4.
What types of food do you bring with you on your trips?
What what types of food I bring to my retreats?
How long does the food last?
How long does it last?
Question number 5.
It's been some time that I didn't go to a retreat in the mountains, in the nature. But now I don't need to, because now I'm here and I have my time alone, I have my space, so it is good. But when you go to a retreat, the basis would be I would take rice or I would take pasta and I would cook it there. I have this stove like I put alcohol and I can cook. So I would cook me, rice. Sometimes I would put an onion with it, or these like soups. There are soups with powder that are not so good. A little bit chemical, but I used to eat them. Like I said, pasta. It is nice to bring vegetables, yes, to your retreat, but the thing is that vegetables contain a lot of water, and so it takes much more space and it is much more heavy. And if you have to go into the mountains up and down the mountains for 3 or 4 hours, then every tomato is heavy. So I wouldn't bring vegetables, or I would just bring some of, just not so much. So the basis would be rice, pasta, bread. Bread is quite light, not heavy. I would bring also some dry food that we like: oats, cereals, raisins. You can bring some nuts if you can. I would also bring some sweet things, I must admit. Some biscuits, some chocolate. Yes. I would cook usually 1 time a day, or if not 2 times. And I would cook and I would eat a lot, and then the next time I would eat the same food, the rest of it, but I would eat it cold without cooking. So I mean, it's not so tasty, maybe not as tasty as you would prepare in your house, but it satisfies your hunger. I wouldn't bring another thing you would like to know maybe is that I wouldn't bring water when I would go to retreat, or maybe just for walking I would bring a bottle. But I would bring empty bottles, plastic bottles with me. We have this empty plastic bottle that you crush it and you close the cap so it stays like this small, and you can have like 2 of them or I don't know, 3 of them in your backpack. You go to the nature, you find a river that you can drink water from, and then you fill your bottles and you have your water. I think that's it. Many people were thinking that I would go and I would find food in the wilderness, in the mountains, that I would eat, but it would be nice. I would like to say that yes, it is so, but no. Usually it is not so easy to find something edible. And also you have to know the plants and things, and it takes time to learn. If there are some things that you can eat, it is very good, and take your time to get to know it, because it can help you a lot. Because the things I would bring for a retreat would last me like 1 week or 2 weeks. So I would stay with my tent for 1 week, 2 weeks, then I would go back to the town and I would bring again more food and I would take more time. Yes. Maybe the first, if you stay in the same place, if you set up your tent and things and the food supplies get ended, the good thing is that you can go back to the town with, you can leave some things in your retreat place, but you have to find a safe place, because if somebody comes and can take your things, then you know it's not good. But you can leave some things, go back to the town or to the place, and then you have less things to carry. It is good. So, it is the answer to this form